Can you imagine being at your lowest, fighting for your life, betrayed by the one you trusted most? I'm Riley Hargrove, and it happened to me. In the ICU with death looming, my CEO husband Landon Whitaker tossed divorce papers at me, calling me a burden. But I didn't break. I came back stronger, ready to crush scheming rivals, expose filthy family secrets, and foil a plot to steal my future. My revenge shook San Francisco's tech world to its core. Every twist will leave you speechless. Want to see how I took down my enemies and reclaimed my life? Watch to the end, like, comment your favorite part, and share with anyone needing a spark to fight back. My name is Riley Hargrove, and if you're watching this, you're about to hear a story that still makes my blood boil every time I think about it. It all started in that cold, sterile ICU room in San Francisco General Hospital. The beeping of machines was the only sound breaking the silence, like a cruel reminder that I was clinging to life by a thread. Tubes snaked into my arms, my chest heaved with every labored breath, and pain shot through my body like lightning. I'd been in a car accident, nothing dramatic, just a slippery road during one of those foggy Bay Area mornings, but it had left me fighting for survival. Cardiac arrest, the doctors said, emergency surgery, family notified. I remember waking up in flashes, disoriented, my mind foggy from the meds. The first face I expected to see was my husband's, Landon Whitaker, the powerful CEO of Whitaker Dynamics, one of Silicon Valley's top tech firms specializing in AI for financial security. We'd been married for 3 years, and in that time, I'd given up so much for him. My own promising career in cybersecurity, put on hold to support his endless board meetings and networking events. Late nights alone while he chased deals, I endured. Them, thinking love meant sacrifice. But as I lay there, vulnerable and scared, all I wanted was his hand in mine, telling me we'd get through this together. Instead, when Landon walked in, his expression was as icy as ever. He was impeccably dressed in his tailored suit, phone in hand, probably checking stock prices even as he approached my bed. No flowers, no tears, just a folder clutched under his arm. "Riley," he said, his voice flat, like he was closing a business. "Deal. We need to talk." Talk? I could barely whisper through the oxygen mask. My heart monitor spiked as I tried to sit up, wincing at the pull of stitches. "Landon, what happened? The accident." He didn't even sit down. "The doctors say you'll pull through. But it's over." He slid the folder onto the bed tray, flipping it open to reveal divorce papers. Crisp, legal documents with our names typed neatly. Riley Hargrove Whitaker versus Landon Whitaker. "Sign them. I've already had my lawyer draw them up. You'll get a fair settlement, enough to start over." I stared at him, disbelief washing over me like a wave. "What? Now? I'm in the ICU, Landon. I almost died." Tears blurred my vision, but he just stood there, unmoved, checking his watch. "You've been holding me back, Riley. This marriage was a mistake from the start. I need someone who understands my world, not someone who clings." His words cut deeper than any scalpel. Clings? After everything I'd done, hosting his clients, smiling through his absences, even helping brainstorm ideas for his companies, AI algorithms when he needed a fresh perspective, I was the one who'd introduced him to key contacts in cybersecurity, drawing from my own expertise in developing protective algorithms against data breaches. But there he was, handing me divorce. Papers while machines kept me alive. "Please," I whispered, my voice cracking. "Don't do this now. We can talk when I'm better." He shook his head. "It's done. Sign and let's move on." He turned to leave, pausing at the door only to say, "Get well soon," like I was a distant acquaintance. As the door clicked shut, rage bubbled. Up inside me, mixing with the pain meds and heartbreak. How could he? After vowing in sickness and in health, he chose sickness as the moment to bail. Nurses rushed in as my monitors went haywire again. Another episode, they said. But in that haze, something shifted. If I survived this, I wouldn't. Just heal. I'd rise. I'd make him regret every cold glance, every dismissed dream. And oh, the secrets I knew about his company, about our life. Secrets that could shatter his perfect world. But survival wasn't guaranteed. The doctors hovered, prepping for another procedure. "Mrs. Whitaker," one said gently, "we need to contact family. Is there anyone else?" Family. That word stung almost as much as Landon's betrayal. My mother had passed years ago, leaving me her shares in the Voss Group, a once thriving software company now tangled in my father's messes. Harlan Voss, my dad, was more interested in his failing startups than in me. And his wife, Meredith Voss, my stepmother, had always seen me as competition, for his attention. No, they wouldn't rush to my side. As they wheeled me into surgery, my mind raced. Flashbacks hit me. Our wedding in a lavish Silicon Valley venue. Landon's promises of forever. The nights I'd stayed up coding prototypes for his firm, only for him to take credit. The whispers at parties about Brooke Langley, his ex, circling back into his life now that she was a big name in tech air circles. Was she the reason? Had he been planning this all along? The anesthesia kicked in, and darkness swallowed me. But in that void, a fire ignited. If I woke up, Landon Whitaker would face a woman reborn, not the devoted wife he'd discarded, but a force ready to dismantle everything he held dear. My expertise in cybersecurity, I'd use it to expose vulnerabilities, not just in code, but in people, starting with him. I did wake up. Days blurred into recovery, physical therapy sessions where I pushed through pain, fueled by anger. Nurses commented on my determination. "You're a fighter, Riley." Damn right. As I signed discharge papers, alone of course, I clutched my phone, scrolling through missed calls. None from Landon, but one from Tia Evelyn, my aunt on my mother's side, a sharp executive who'd always believed in me. "Riley, honey, I heard. Call me. We need to talk about your mother's shares." That call would change everything. But first, I needed to rebuild. Back in my empty condo overlooking the bay, I stared at the divorce papers, unsigned. Landon thought he could end us with a signature? No. I'd make him beg for mercy. Little did I know, the real storm was brewing. Whispers in Silicon Valley circles hinted at Brooke Langley making moves, partnering with Landon's rivals, perhaps even eyeing my patent for the algorithm I'd developed in secret, one that could revolutionize data protection for banks. And my father? He was scheming to grab those Voss Group shares before I could claim them on my upcoming birthday. As I plotted my next move, a text from Landon popped up. "Signed yet? Let's finalize." Oh, the arrogance. I deleted it, smirking. He had no idea what was coming. But you, viewer, stick around, because this is just the beginning. What happens when a woman scorned taps into her inner genius? You'll see in the next part, where old wounds reopen and family secrets explode. After hearing about that heartless moment in the ICU, buckle up, because what comes next is where the real fire starts. I'm Riley Hargrove, and as I left San Francisco General Hospital, leaning on a crutch with discharge papers in hand, fog rolling in from the bay felt like a metaphor for my life, unclear, cold, and ready to swallow me whole. But I wasn't about to let it. Landon's betrayal wasn't just a slap in the face, it was the spark that ignited something fierce inside me. Hobbling to the waiting cab, I replayed his words over and over. "You've been holding me back." Me. The woman who'd stood by him through every late-night pitch and investor crisis. The ride back to my condo in the Marina District was a blur of traffic and memories. San Francisco's steep hills mirrored the ups and downs of our marriage. We'd met 5 years ago at a tech conference in the Moscone Center. Me, a rising star, in cybersecurity, presenting on advanced AI algorithms to detect financial hacks. Him, the ambitious founder of Whitaker Dynamics, charming the room with his vision for secure banking tech. Sparks flew, or so I thought. Landon pursued me relentlessly. Dinners at upscale spots like Gary Danko, promises of a partnership in life and business. "You're brilliant, Riley," he'd say, his eyes lighting up. "Together, we'll conquer Silicon Valley." But marriage changed everything. 3 years in, I found myself sidelined. I'd put my own projects on hold to help him scale Whitaker Dynamics, attending galas as his arm candy, brainstorming ideas he later claimed as his own. Remember that algorithm I mentioned? The one that could revolutionize data protection for banks? I'd developed the core of it in my spare time, but Landon dismissed. It is too niche. Meanwhile, he grew distant, buried in work, or so he said. Whispers reached me. Brooke Langley, his ex from college, back in town after building her family's Langley Tech into a rival powerhouse. Just old friends, Landon brushed off when I confronted him. But the late texts, the business trips, I wasn't blind. Arriving at the condo, the place felt empty, echoing with ghosts of better days. My luxurious space overlooked the Golden Gate Bridge, a symbol of connection that now mocked me. I dropped my bag and sank onto the couch, the divorce papers crinkling in my pocket. Unsigned, of course. Why make it easy for him? Pulling out my laptop, I logged into my old Hargrove Secure account, my startup, dormant since the wedding. The patent for my algorithm was still there, filed quietly under my name. It wasn't just code, it was my masterpiece designed to predict and prevent cyber breaches in real time, potentially worth billions in the financial sector. But first, the past demanded reckoning. I scrolled through old photos, our honeymoon in Napa Valley, toasting with wine under the stars. Forever, he'd whispered. Lies. Then came the emails, ones I'd ignored, from Harlan Voss, my father. Riley, we need to discuss your mother's shares. In the Voss Group, your birthday's coming up. Time to claim them. Mom had died when I was 25, leaving me 40% of the company she'd built from scratch, a software firm specializing in enterprise tools. But Harlan, always the opportunist, had married Meredith Voss shortly after, and they'd been dipping into assets ever since. I knew it. Audits I'd run secretly showed discrepancies. A knock at the door jolted me. It was a delivery. Flowers? No. A courier with more papers from Landon's lawyer. Urgent, the note read. Inside, a settlement offer, generous on paper but insulting in reality. Half our assets, but no mention of my contributions to his company. Rage surged. I called Tia Evelyn, my aunt, Mom's sister, a no-nonsense executive at a rival firm in Palo Alto. Riley, thank God you're okay, she answered, her voice warm but edged with concern. I heard about the accident, and Landon, that bastard. We talked for hours. Evelyn revealed what I'd suspected. Harlan and Meredith were plotting to pressure me into signing over the shares. Your father's startup is tanking, kiddo. He needs the Voss Group money to bail it out. But those shares are yours. Use them wisely. She paused. And about your patent? Don't let Landon near it. Brooke Langley's been sniffing around Whitaker Dynamics, proposing mergers. Watch your back. Brooke. The name twisted like a knife. I'd met her once at a fundraiser, tall, poised, with that heiress vibe. Landon and I go way back, she'd purred, eyeing my ring like it was temporary. Now, with Landon free, was she moving in? I searched online. Gossip sites buzzed. Tech power couple reunion? Landon Whitaker spotted with ex-Brooke Langley. Photos from a recent event showed them laughing, his hand on her arm. My stomach churned. That night, sleep evaded me. I paced the balcony, the bridge lights twinkling mockingly. Decisions crystallized. First, divorce on my terms, no quick signature. I'd drag it out, uncover any hidden assets Landon had squirreled away. Second, reclaim the Voss Group shares. My birthday was weeks away. I'd fight Harlan tooth and nail. Third, revive Hargrove Secure. My algorithm could disrupt the market, especially with cyber threats rising in banking. But I needed allies. Evelyn, perhaps investors wary of Landon's growing monopoly. As dawn broke over the bay, I felt a shift. No more the devoted wife. I was Riley Hargrove, innovator, survivor. Landon thought he could discard me. He'd learn the hard way. But shadows loomed. A cryptic email from an anonymous sender warned, "Watch for Travis Langley. He's after your code." Travis, Brooke's brother, known for cutthroat tactics at Langley Tech. Curiosity piqued, fear mixed with excitement. What was Travis planning? And how deep did the betrayal go? If Landon was involved, well, my revenge would be sweeter. But family came first, or what was left of it. Harlan's call the next morning sealed it. "Riley, come home. We need to talk." About the shares. Oh, we would talk, all right. Little did he know, I was coming armed with truth and fury. Viewer, if that ICU betrayal hooked you, wait till you hear about the family explosion waiting in Block 3. Secrets, lies, and a showdown. That changes everything. Don't go anywhere. The drive to my childhood home in Pacific Heights was like stepping into a lion's den. San Francisco's winding streets felt claustrophobic, the fog thicker than usual, mirroring the tension coiling in my chest. Harlan, my father, Mr. Voss too, most, had called me over to discuss family matters. His voice over the phone had been syrupy sweet, the kind of tone he used when he wanted something. I knew better. Those Voss Group shares, my mother's legacy, were coming due on my 32nd birthday, just weeks away. They were my birthright, but to him, they were a lifeline for his sinking startup. I gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles white, replaying Landon's cold dismissal in the ICU and that ominous email about Travis Langley eyeing my algorithm. Betrayal was becoming a theme. Pulling up to the mansion, I took a deep breath. The house loomed, all Victorian elegance with manicured hedges, a facade of warmth hiding years of dysfunction. Mom built the Voss Group from nothing, coding enterprise. Software in our garage before I was born. When she died, Harlan married Meredith within a year, and the cracks in our family widened. Meredith, with her fake smiles and designer scarves, never liked me. I was the reminder of Mom's success, a threat to her control over Harlan's decisions. Inside, the air smelled of lavender and money. Harlan greeted me in the foyer, his gray hair slicked back, wearing a sweater that screamed, trying too hard to, look approachable. "Riley, good to see you out of the hospital," he said, hugging me lightly, like I might break, or like he didn't want to get too close. Meredith stood nearby, her arms crossed, lips pursed. "We were so worried," she lied, her eyes scanning me like I was a balance sheet. "Let's sit," Harlan said, leading me to the living room. The same room where Mom used to read me bedtime stories now felt like a boardroom. They wasted no time. "Your mother's shares," Harlan began, leaning forward. "They're critical for the family, Riley. My startup, Voss Ventures, is struggling. Investors are pulling out. Those shares could secure a merger, save jobs." I raised an eyebrow. "Save jobs or save your reputation?" His face reddened, but I pressed on. "I've seen the audits, Dad. You've been siphoning Voss Group funds for years. Mom's company is barely afloat because of you." Meredith gasped, clutching her pearls, literally. "How dare you speak to your father like that? After all we've done?" "Done?" I snapped, standing. "Like forging documents to transfer Mom's assets to your name? I found the paper trail, Meredith. You thought I wouldn't check?" My voice trembled, not from fear, but from years of pent-up rage. I'd spent late nights after the accident digging into financial records, using my cybersecurity skills to uncover their dirty moves, transfers to offshore accounts, fake invoices, all tied to Harlan's failing ventures. Harlan raised his hands, playing peacemaker. "Riley, calm down. We're family. Those shares belong with us, not some outsider. You're not cut out for corporate games. Sign them over and we'll take care of everything." His condescension lit a fuse. "Not cut out? I built an algorithm that could secure every bank in America, and you think I'm not cut out?" I laughed bitterly. "You just want the shares to bail out your mess. What did you promise Meredith? A new yacht?" Meredith's face twisted. "You ungrateful brat. You think you can waltz in and take what's ours? Your mother would be ashamed." That hit like a punch. Mom ashamed? She was the one who'd taught me to code, to fight for what mattered. I leaned in, my voice low. "Mom would be ashamed of you, Meredith, stealing from her legacy while you parade around in her house." Harlan slammed his fist on the table. "Enough. Sign the shares over, Riley, or you'll regret it. Family or not, I have ways to make this happen. A chill ran through me. Was that a threat? I thought of Tia Evelyn's warning about their desperation. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from her. Don't sign anything. Meet me tomorrow. I have a plan. Evelyn, Mom's sister, had always been my rock, a tech executive who'd climbed the ranks without stepping on others. If anyone could help me protect the shares, it was her. I stood, grabbing my bag. I'm not signing anything. Those shares are mine, and I'll fight for them. You taught me one thing, Dad. Never trust a Voss. As I stormed out, Meredith's voice followed, shrill. You'll lose everything, Riley. In the car, my heart pounded. I wasn't just fighting for shares. This was about reclaiming Mom's legacy, proving I wasn't the weak link they thought. But doubts crept in. Harlan had connections, lawyers, maybe even shady ones. Could I take him on? And what about Landon? His divorce papers still sat unsigned on my desk, a reminder of another battle. As I drove back to my condo, the city lights blurred through tears I refused to let fall. Then another email pinged. An anonymous sender. Again, check Voss Group servers. Harlan's hiding more than you think. My cybersecurity instincts kicked in. Whoever this was, they knew something. Hacking into the servers was risky, but I had the skills. If Harlan was hiding dirt, I'd find it. Back home, I fired up my laptop, diving into the Voss Group's network. Hours passed, lines of code revealing, a maze of transactions. There it was, a hidden account linked to Meredith, funneling millions to Harlan's startup. My hands shook. This was bigger than I thought. If I exposed this, I could take them down. But who was tipping me off? And why? Then a call from an unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. A distorted voice said, Riley, you're stirring the hornet's nest. Be careful. Travis Langley is watching. The line went dead. Travis again. Brooke's brother, gunning for my algorithm, now tied to my family's mess? This wasn't just personal anymore. It was a war. The next morning, I'd meet Evelyn. If anyone could help me weaponize this evidence, it was her. But as I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, one thought burned. Harlan and Meredith underestimated me, just like Landon had. They thought I'd crumble. They were wrong. What happens when a daughter betrayed uncovers a family empire's darkest secrets? Stick around for the next part. You won't believe what's coming. The Silicon Valley sun was blinding as I stepped into the sleek headquarters of Hargrove Secure, my startup, nestled among the tech giants of Palo Alto. My leg still ached from the accident, but the real pain was the fire in my chest. Fueled by Landon's betrayal, Harlan's scheming, and that cryptic call warning me about Travis Langley. I'd spent the night digging into the Voss Group servers, uncovering Mr. Voss and Mrs. Voss's dirty transactions. But now I had work to do. My algorithm, the one that could lock down financial systems against cyber threats, was my ticket to reclaiming my power. No one, not Landon, not my so-called family, and definitely not Brooke Langley, was going to take it from me. The office buzzed with my small but loyal team, coders and analysts I'd handpicked before my marriage derailed everything. Riley, you're back, said Jenna, my lead engineer, her eyes wide with relief. I forced a smile, hiding the storm inside. Yeah, and I'm not going anywhere. I headed to my desk, pulling up the patent files for my algorithm. It was nearly complete. A predictive AI that could detect and neutralize hacks in real time, potentially saving banks billions. But whispers in the tech world were growing louder. Langley Tech, run by Brooke and her brother Travis, was circling, hungry for a piece of my work. That evening, I attended a tech gala at the San Francisco Design Center, a glittering affair where Silicon Valley's elite mingled over champagne and deal-making. I wore a sharp black dress, my armor against the vultures. My goal, network with investors to fund Hargrove Secure's next phase. But as I sipped sparkling water, still cautious after that anonymous warning, I felt eyes on me. There she was. Brooke, in a crimson gown, laughing too loudly with a group of venture capitalists. Her gaze locked onto mine, and her smile turned venomous. She sauntered over, her heels clicking like a predator's claws. "Riley," she purred, tossing her perfectly styled hair. "Didn't expect to see you here, fresh from the hospital. Shouldn't you be resting?" Her tone dripped with fake concern, but her eyes screamed challenge. "I'm tougher than I look, Brooke," I shot back, keeping my voice steady. "Unlike some, I don't need to ride someone else's coattails to get noticed." Her laugh was sharp, cutting through the hum of the crowd. "Oh, honey, let's not pretend. You were never cut out for Landon's world. He needs a real partner, someone who gets the game." She leaned closer, her perfume cloying. "He and I were always the better match. You were just temporary." My blood boiled, but I didn't flinch. "Funny, Brooke. Last I checked, you were the one chasing a married man. Desperate much?" Her face tightened, but before she could fire back, a familiar figure appeared. Landon, looking sharp in a navy suit, his expression unreadable. "Everything okay here?" he asked, glancing between us. Brooke's demeanor shifted instantly, her hand brushing his arm. "Just catching up with Riley, darling. She seems stressed." I wanted to slap that smug look off her face, but I held it together. "I'm fine, Landon. Just dealing with unwanted pests." I turned to leave, but Brooke's voice followed, loud enough for nearby heads to turn. "Careful, Riley. Not everyone survives the big leagues. Your little startup might not either." The threat hung in the air, and I felt the crowd's eyes on me. She was trying to humiliate me, paint me as the weak link. But I'd played this game before. Smiling tightly, I said, "Hargrove Secure's doing just fine, Brooke. Worry about your own company. Rumor has it Langley Tech's bleeding cash." Gasps rippled through the onlookers. Her smile faltered, and I walked away, heart pounding, but head high. Back at my condo, I couldn't shake her words. Brooke wasn't just after Landon. She was gunning for my algorithm, my future. A quick search confirmed the rumors. Langley Tech was struggling, their latest software flopping against competitors like Whitaker Dynamics. Was Brooke cozying up to Landon for a merger, or was she after my patent to save her family's sinking ship? My phone buzzed, a message from Tia Evelyn. "Met with my lawyers. We can block Harlan's moves on the shares. Come to Palo Alto tomorrow." Relief washed over me. Evelyn was my ace, but I needed more. I called Jenna, asking her to double-check our servers for any breaches. "Already on it," she said. "But Riley, someone tried accessing our patent files last night. I traced it to an IP linked to Langley Tech." My stomach dropped. Travis. That warning about him wasn't just paranoia. I spent hours combing through our security logs, my fingers flying over the keyboard. Sure enough, there were traces of a sophisticated hack attempt, subtle, but sloppy enough to leave breadcrumbs. Travis wasn't just a corporate shark. He was a criminal, and Brooke was likely in on it. The next day, I met Evelyn at her office, a sleek space overlooking the Stanford campus. She hugged me tightly, her silver hair pulled back, exuding calm strength. "Harlan's desperate," she said, sliding a folder across her desk. "These documents prove he's been funneling Voss Group money to his startup. We can use this to keep your shares safe. But there's more. Rumors are swirling about Langley Tech targeting your algorithm." I nodded, my jaw tight. "Brooks already making moves, and Travis tried hacking our servers." Evelyn's eyes narrowed. "That boy's trouble. Always has been. If they're working together, you need to be 2 steps ahead." She suggested a plan: file the patent immediately, lock it down with extra encryption, and pitch to select investors who hated the Langley's cutthroat reputation. "And Landon?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. "Any chance he's playing both sides?" I hesitated. Landon's coldness in the ICU still stung, but his recent texts, checking in, offering to meet, hinted at regret. Was he genuine, or just covering his bases? "I don't trust him," I admitted. "But I'll deal with him later. Right now, it's Brooke and Travis I need to crush." As I left Evelyn's office, my phone pinged again. Another anonymous email. Brooks meeting Landon tonight. Private dinner. Check the Fairmont Hotel. My heart raced. Was this a trap or a chance to catch them plotting? Either way, I wasn't sitting this one out. I'd show up, uninvited, and see what game Brooke was playing. Driving back to the city, I felt the weight of it all. Family betrayal, corporate sabotage, and a husband who'd discarded me like old code. But I wasn't the Riley they expected to roll over. Brooke thought she could intimidate me. She'd learned the hard way. And if Landon was in on her scheme, he'd regret it too. What happens when you crash a secret dinner between your ex and his scheming ex-girlfriend? The next parts. Going to set Silicon Valley on fire. Don't miss it. The Fairmont Hotel glowed against the San Francisco skyline, its opulent facade hiding the kind of secrets only the tech elite could afford to keep. My heart pounded as I parked my car, that anonymous email still burning in my mind. Brooke and Landon meeting tonight, private dinner. Was this a setup, or my chance to catch them plotting against me? Either way, I wasn't backing down. My algorithm, my masterpiece of AI that could shield banks from cyber threats, was under attack, and Travis Langley, Brooke's snake of a brother, was leading the charge. I slipped on a dark blazer, my hair pulled back, ready to blend into the shadows of the elite crowd. This wasn't just about saving my startup, Hargrove Secure. It was about proving I wasn't the weak link they all thought. Inside, the hotel buzzed with a tech summit after party. Perfect cover. I scanned the room, spotting venture capitalists and startup founders clinking glasses, their laughter a stark contrast to the storm inside me. Then I saw them. Brooke, radiant in a gold dress, leaning close to Landon at a corner table in the Mai Hotel's upscale restaurant. He looked tense, his jaw tight, not the smug CEO who'd tossed divorce papers at me in the ICU. What were they scheming? My fingers tightened around my phone, already set to record audio. If they were after my patent, I'd catch every word. I slipped into a nearby booth hidden by a decorative screen, close enough to hear but out of sight. Brooke's voice carried, syrupy and calculated. Landon, think about it. A merger between Whitaker Dynamics and Langley Tech could dominate the market. Riley's little project? It's a liability. Her algorithm's untested and she's unstable. Unstable? My blood boiled. I'd been coding since I was 15, outsmarting hackers while Brooke was busy perfecting her Instagram aesthetic. Landon's response was low, almost reluctant. Riley's not unstable. She's brilliant, Brooke. You know that. My heart stuttered. Was he defending me or playing a part? Brooke laughed, sharp and dismissive. Brilliant doesn't mean capable. Travis can handle her. He's already got a plan to acquire her patent. Legally, of course. Her tone suggested anything but legality. I leaned closer, my phone capturing every word. Travis. That name again. The anonymous warnings, the hack attempt on Hargrove Secure's servers, it all pointed to him. I texted Jenna, my lead engineer, under the table. Check server logs again. Look for Travis Langley's fingerprints. Her reply came fast. On it. Found another breach attempt last night. Same IP. Be careful, Riley. Careful wasn't enough anymore. I needed to act. Slipping out of the booth, I circled the restaurant, pretending to admire the decor while keeping an eye on their table. Then I saw him, Travis Langley, striding in with that cocky grin, his suit screaming money. He joined Brooke and Landon, shaking hands like they were sealing a deal. My stomach twisted. Was Landon in on this? Had his checking in texts? Been a ruse to keep me distracted. I needed more than audio. I activated a custom app I'd built, a nifty tool that could mirror nearby devices if I got close enough. Risky, but worth it. I approached their table under the guise of passing by, my phone hidden in my palm. Excuse me, I said, faking a stumble to get within range. Travis barely glanced up, but Brooke's eyes narrowed. Riley? What a coincidence. No, coincidence, I said, smiling tightly. Just networking, you know, keeping my startup alive. Landon's gaze met mine, a flicker of something, guilt, concern, before he looked away. I didn't linger, heading to the bar, my app all ready. pulling data from Travis's phone. Texts, emails, maybe even a smoking gun. Back at my condo, I pored over the mirrored data. Jackpot. A string of messages between Travis and a Whitaker Dynamics exec, someone named Greg Carter. "Get me Hargrove's patent files," Travis wrote. "Offer her a deal she can't refuse. If she resists, we leak she stole data from us." Stole data? That was rich, considering their hack attempts. Another message chilled me. "Dinner tonight. Spike her drink if she shows. Make her talk." My hands shook. Spike my drink? This wasn't just corporate sabotage, it was personal, dangerous. I remembered the gala, Brooks taunting, and now this. They thought they could drug me into compliance? I backed up the data, encrypting it on a secure drive, and called Evelyn. "Travis is playing dirty," I told her, voice steady despite my racing heart. "He's planning to frame me for data theft." Evelyn's voice was steel. "File that patent tomorrow, Riley. I've got lawyers ready to lock it down. And stay away from Travis. He's got a history of bending the law." She paused. "What about Landon? Is he part of this?" I didn't know. His defense of me at dinner clashed with his ICU betrayal. "I'll find out," I said, hanging up. Sleep was impossible. I spent the night strengthening Hargrove Secure's firewalls, my fingers flying over code. By dawn, Jenna confirmed another breach attempt. Blocked, but aggressive. Travis wasn't slowing down. The next evening, I got an invite to a private meeting at a Langley Tech office downtown. Travis's name was on it, promising a partnership opportunity. My gut screamed trap, but I went, armed with my phone's recording app and a tiny camera clipped to my bag. The office was sleek, all glass and steel, but Travis's smile was sleazier than the decor. "Riley, glad you came," he said, offering a glass of wine. "Let's talk business." I pushed the glass away, my eyes locked on his. "Cut the crap, Travis. I know about your hacks. And the drink? Nice try." His grin faltered, but he recovered fast. "You're paranoid. Sign over the patent, and we'll make you rich. Refuse, and we'll prove you stole our tech." "Prove it?" I laughed, my voice cold. "I've got proof of your little scheme. Texts, emails, all of it." His face paled, but he leaned forward, menacing. "Careful, Riley. You don't want to make enemies in this town." I stood, my camera catching every second. "Too late. You started this war." As I left, my heart raced, but I felt alive. Travis thought he could scare me. He'd underestimated the wrong woman. But questions nagged. Was Landon playing both sides? And who was the anonymous tipster feeding me intel? Driving home, my phone buzzed, a text from Landon. "We need to talk alone. Meet me tomorrow." My pulse quickened. Was this a chance to uncover his true loyalties, or another trap? One thing was clear. The game was escalating, and I was ready to play dirty too. What happens when you confront the man who broke your heart, and he might hold? The key to your survival? The next part's gonna blow the lid off Silicon Valley. Stay tuned. The San Francisco skyline sparkled outside my condo window, but inside, my mind was a storm. Landon's text from last night. "We need to talk. Alone. Meet me tomorrow?" Sat unanswered on my phone. Part of me wanted to delete it, to erase him, like he'd tried to erase our marriage with those divorce papers in the ICU. But another part, the part that remembered his softer moments, hesitated. Was he playing me, cozying up to Brooke and her brother Travis to steal my algorithm? Or was there truth in the flicker of guilt I'd seen in his eyes at the Fairmont? I needed answers, and I wasn't waiting for them to fall in my lap. I agreed to meet him at a quiet cafe in Sausalito, just across the Golden Gate Bridge, a neutral spot, away from Silicon Valley's prying eyes. As I drove, the bay's calm, waters mocked the chaos in my chest. Landon had defended me to Brooke, calling me brilliant, but words were cheap. Actions mattered, and his actions, those cold divorce papers, his absence during my recovery, still cut deep. Yet, the evidence I'd gathered against Travis, the hack attempts on Hargrove Secure, and that anonymous tipster's warnings all pointed to a bigger game. If Landon was involved, I'd expose him. If he wasn't, maybe, just maybe, he could help me take down the Langleys. The cafe smelled of fresh coffee and sea salt, its wooden deck overlooking the marina. Landon was already there, sitting at a corner table, no suit this time, just a simple sweater, his dark hair slightly mussed. He looked human, not the untouchable CEO I'd grown used to. "Riley," he said, standing as I approached, his voice softer than I expected. "Thanks for coming." I sat, keeping my bag close, my phone's recording app discreetly on. "Talk fast, Landon. I've got a company to save and a family to bury." My tone was sharp, but my heart raced. Being near him stirred memories. Good ones, like late-night coding sessions together, and bad ones, like his cold dismissal in the hospital. He leaned forward, elbows on the table, his eyes searching mine. "I owe you an apology. What I did, in the ICU, it was unforgivable. I was under pressure, board members, investors, Brooke pushing for a merger. I thought ending us would simplify things." He paused, running a hand through his hair. "I was wrong. You're not holding me back, Riley. You never were." I scoffed, crossing my arms. "You expect me to believe that? You handed me divorce papers while I was hooked to machines. You called me a liability." My voice cracked, betraying the hurt I'd buried under anger. "And now you're dining with Brooke? Plotting with her and Travis?" His face tightened. "I'm not plotting with them. Brooke's been pushing for a merger, yeah, but I've been stalling. Travis is trouble. I've known that since college. He's after your algorithm, Riley. I heard him bragging about acquiring it, whatever it takes." Landon's eyes darkened. "I didn't know about the hacking until recently. When I found out, I started digging." I raised an eyebrow, skeptical. "Digging? You expect me to trust you after everything?" My mind flashed to the anonymous emails. Could Landon be the tipster? No, too risky to assume. But his next words caught me off guard. "I found something," he said, sliding a USB drive across the table. "Emails between Travis and Greg Carter, one of my execs. They're colluding to frame you for data theft, to force you to sell your patent cheap. I fired Carter this morning. This is everything I've got. Dates, payments, even a plan to leak false evidence to the press." I stared at the drive, my pulse racing. If this was real, it was dynamite. Enough to sink Travis and protect Hargrove secure. But why would Landon hand it over? "What's your angle, Landon? Why help me now?" He leaned back, his expression raw. "Because I screwed up, Riley. I let ambition blind me. I saw you in that hospital bed fighting to live, and I still walked away. It's haunted me since." He swallowed hard, his voice dropping. "I don't expect you to forgive me, but I want to make this right." My throat tightened. I wanted to believe him, to see the Landon who'd cooked me breakfast after all-nighters, who'd laughed with me over bad sci-fi movies. But trust was a luxury I couldn't afford. "Prove it," I said, pocketing the drive. "If this checks out, maybe we'll talk. Until then, stay out of my way." He nodded, no argument, just a quiet, "Fair enough." As I stood to leave, he added, "Be careful, Riley. Travis isn't just sneaky, he's dangerous, and Brooke's not far behind." Back at my condo, I plugged the USB into my secure laptop, heart pounding as I scanned the files. Landon wasn't lying. Emails detailed Travis's plan. Bribe Carter, hack my servers, plant fake evidence to discredit me. One message even mentioned spiking my drink at the Langley tech meeting, confirmation of what I'd suspected. My hands shook with rage, but also relief. Landon was telling the truth, at least about this. I called Jenna, my lead engineer. "Verify these files," I said, forwarding copies. "If they're legit, we've got Travis by the throat." She confirmed within hours. The emails were real, unedited. I leaned back, mind racing. Landon's move didn't erase the past, but it shifted the game. Could I use him to take down the Langleys, or was this a clever act to win me back? The next day, I met Tia Evelyn at her Palo Alto office. She scanned the USB data, her eyes narrowing. This is gold, Riley. File the patent now, and we'll use this to sue Langley Tech for attempted theft. But Landon, she trailed off, skeptical. He's helping you, but don't let your guard down. Men like him don't change overnight. She was right. I couldn't let nostalgia cloud my judgment. But as I left, my phone buzzed. A news alert. Whitaker Dynamics had publicly cut ties with Greg Carter, citing ethical breaches. Landon was backing his words with action. For the first time, I felt a flicker of hope. Not for us, but for justice. Yet danger loomed. Another anonymous email arrived. Travis knows you're onto him. Watch your back at the tech conference next week. The Silicon Valley Summit was days away, where I'd pitch my algorithm to investors. Travis would be there, and so would Brooke. If they were desperate, what would they try next? As I prepared, my mind wrestled with Landon's redemption. Was he my ally or a wild card? One thing was certain: the summit would be a battlefield. What happens when you face your enemies head-on, with a former lover by your side? The next part's where it all explodes. Don't look away. The Silicon Valley Summit buzzed with energy, a glittering battlefield of glass-walled conference rooms and ambitious tech moguls. San Francisco's Moscone Center was packed. Investors, coders, and CEOs all vying for the next big deal. I stood, backstage, my heart pounding, adjusting the tiny earpiece Jenna had rigged to keep me connected to my team. Today, I'd pitch my algorithm to a room full of venture capitalists, securing Hargrove Secure's future and locking down my patent. But the air felt charged with danger. Travis was here, somewhere in the crowd, and Brooke, too. That anonymous email had warned me. Travis knows you're onto him. My phone, tucked in my blazer, held the evidence from Landon's USB drive. Texts, emails, proof of Travis's scheme to steal my algorithm. This wasn't just a pitch, it was war. I glanced at the crowd from behind the curtain. Landon was there. Front row, his eyes scanning the room like he was expecting trouble. Since our meeting in Sausalito, he'd been true to his word, firing his corrupt exec and feeding me intel. But trust? That was still a bridge too far. My fingers brushed the divorce papers, still unsigned in my bag. Today wasn't about him. It was about taking down the Langleys and reclaiming my power. The MC called my name, and I stepped onto the stage, the spotlight hot on my face. "Good morning," I said, my voice steady despite the nerves. "Hargrove, Secure is here to redefine cybersecurity. Our AI algorithm predicts and neutralizes financial hacks in real time, saving banks billions." The slides behind me showcased data, sleek visuals Jenna had prepped. Investors leaned forward, intrigued. But I felt Brooke's stare from the third row, her red lipstick a slash of defiance. Travis stood beside her, arms crossed, his smirk making my skin crawl. Halfway through my pitch, I pivoted. "Innovation demands integrity," I said, locking eyes with Travis, "which is why I'm calling out a threat in this room. Langley Tech, led by Travis Langley, has tried to steal my patent through hacking and coercion." Gasps rippled through the crowd. I held up my phone, projecting the evidence. Screenshots of Travis's texts, emails plotting to frame me for data theft. This is what we're up against. Not just code, but corruption. The room erupted. Travis lunged toward the stage, shouting, "She's lying! That's fabricated!" But security moved fast, guided by a signal from Jenna in the wings. I kept going, voice rising. "I've got recordings too. Travis tried to drug me at a meeting, threatening to ruin me if I didn't hand over my work." I played the audio, his voice clear. "Sign over the patent, or we'll prove you stole our tech." The crowd turned on him, murmurs turning to outrage. Travis's face went white as security escorted him out, cameras flashing. Brooke stood, her composure cracking. "You're pathetic, Riley," she spat, storming toward the stage. "You think you can ruin us with this stunt? Landon will never. Choose you!" Her words stung, but I was ready. "I don't need Landon to choose me, Brooke," I shot back, loud enough for the mics to catch. "I choose myself, and your company's done. Check the news. Your investors are pulling out as we speak." She froze, checking her phone as panicked texts lit up her screen. Langley Tech's stock was tanking, thanks to a press release Jenna had timed perfectly, leaking Travis's scheme to key outlets. Brooke's glare could have burned holes, but she turned and fled, her heels echoing in the stunned silence. The crowd applauded, investors swarming me with offers, but my eyes found Landon. He stood, clapping slowly, a mix of pride and something softer in his gaze. Backstage, chaos reigned. Reporters hounded me, but I slipped away to a quiet hallway, needing air. That's when Mr. Voss appeared, his face a mask of fury. "Riley, what have you done?" he hissed, grabbing my arm. "You're destroying the family!" I yanked free, my voice ice. "Family? You stole from Mom's legacy, Harlan. I found the accounts. You and Mrs. Voss siphoned millions for your failing startup." His eyes widened, but I wasn't done. "I'm taking back the Voss Group shares. Tia Evelyn's lawyers are filing the papers today." "You're finished," he stammered, his charm crumbling. "Riley, please, I'm your father. I was desperate. My investors should have thought of that before betraying Mom," I said, turning away. "And me." As he called after me, I saw Mrs. Voss in the distance, fleeing the venue, her face pale. They'd lost. Evelyn's text confirmed it. "Shares secured. Voss Group is yours." But the victory felt hollow with Landon approaching, his expression raw. "Riley, you were incredible up there," he said, stepping closer. I'm so sorry for everything. I want to help you rebuild if you'll let me." His hand brushed mine, and for a moment, I saw the man I'd loved, the one who'd dreamed with me, not the cold CEO who'd walked away. I pulled back, my heart torn. "You helped, Landon. The USB, Carter's firing, I appreciate it. But trust? That's earned and you're not there yet." His face fell, but he nodded. "I'll keep trying," he said softly. "However long it takes." As he walked away, my phone buzzed, a news alert. Travis had been arrested, charged with attempted data theft and coercion. Langley Tech was imploding, and Brooke was nowhere to be found. I'd won this round, but questions lingered. Who was the anonymous tipster? And could I ever let Landon back in, or was my heart better off locked away? I headed to my car, the bay breeze cool against my skin. The summit had been my stage, but the real test was coming. With the Voss Group shares in my hands and Hargrove Secure soaring, I was no longer the broken woman from the ICU. But what would I do with this power? And would Landon's promises hold, or was another betrayal waiting? The final chapters. Coming, where every choice I make reshapes my future, and Silicon Valley's. Don't miss what happens when a woman scorned takes her empire to new heights. The aftermath of the Silicon Valley Summit felt like the calm after a digital storm. San Francisco's fog had lifted, mirroring the clarity in my mind as I drove to Hargrove Secure's new expanded offices in Palo Alto. The algorithm was launched, adopted by major banks overnight, turning my startup into a powerhouse. Headlines screamed victory. Hargrove Secure disrupts cyber market. Langley Tech in ruins. Travis's arrest made waves. His mugshot splashed across tech blogs, charged with corporate espionage and attempted coercion. Brooke had vanished from the scene, rumors swirling of her fleeing to Europe to escape the fallout. Langley Tech's stock plummeted, investors fleeing like rats from a sinking ship. My revenge wasn't just sweet, it was epic, a testament to what happens when you underestimate a woman with code in her veins. Back at the office, Jenna high-fived me as I walked in. "Riley, we did it. Funding's pouring in, enough to expand globally." The team cheered, but I felt a quiet satisfaction. This wasn't luck, it was strategy, born from the ashes of betrayal. I'd filed the patent ironclad, using Evelyn's lawyers to seal every loophole. Hargrove Secure wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. My algorithm safeguarding billions in financial data, proving I was more than Landon's discarded wife. But family loose ends lingered. Mr. Voss's call came that afternoon, his voice broken over the phone. "Riley, please, I'm ruined. The startup's bankrupt, creditors at the door, I need help." I leaned back in my chair, staring at the bay view. "You need help? After siphoning Mom's legacy? You and Mrs. Voss can fend for yourselves." He begged, invoking family ties, but I cut him off. Family doesn't steal, Harlan. The Voss Group shares are mine now. Consider this goodbye. I hung up, a weight lifting. Evelyn had transferred the shares seamlessly, renaming the company under my banner. Mrs. Voss had fled too, last seen packing bags for who knows where, her lavish lifestyle crumbling. No more manipulations, no more guilt trips. I was free. As evening fell, Landon appeared at my door, unannounced, a bouquet of wildflowers in hand, my favorites from our early dating days. "Riley," he said, stepping inside when I didn't. Slam the door. "I saw the news. You were brilliant. Travis is done. Brooke's out of the picture. I'm proud of you." Proud? The word hung between us, stirring mixed emotions. I set the flowers down, crossing my arms. Proud doesn't erase the ICU, Landon, or the years I felt invisible. He nodded, his eyes shadowed. I know. I was blind, focused on empire building while losing what mattered. But helping you, giving you that evidence, standing by at the summit, it wasn't for show. I want to make amends. He pulled out a folder, not unlike the divorce papers, but this time it was a partnership proposal. Whitaker Dynamics could collaborate with Hargrove Secure. Equal terms, your lead on cybersecurity, no strings. I scanned. It, legit, generous even, but I set it aside. This isn't about business, Landon, it's about us. Can I trust you won't bail when things get tough? He took my hand, his touch gentle. I won't. I love you, Riley. I always did, but I let ambition cloud it. Give me a chance to prove it, every day. His voice cracked, vulnerability breaking through his CEO facade. For the first time, I saw regret, real and raw. I pulled away, but not harshly. I need time. The divorce papers are still unsigned. Let's take it slow. Dates, talks, no pressure. He smiled, relieved. As slow as you want. I'm not going anywhere. That night, over a simple dinner he cooked, pasta like our first date, I felt walls cracking. Landon opened up about pressures from his board, Brooke's manipulations, his fear of vulnerability after a tough upbringing. It didn't excuse him, but it humanized him. As we laughed over old memories, hope flickered. Maybe redemption was possible, not just for him, but for us. With Hargrove Secure booming, I turned to new horizons. Evelyn joined as advisor, her wisdom guiding expansions. The anonymous tipster? A final email revealed it was Jenna, my loyal engineer, who'd overheard whispers and protected me silently. Loyalty like that? Priceless. As I stood on my balcony, watching the Golden Gate Bridge glow, I reflected on my journey, from the ICU's despair to this pinnacle of power. Landon's hand slipped into mine, tentative. Ready for whatever comes next? He asked. Squeezed back. Together, maybe. My revenge had reshaped my world, but the real win was reclaiming myself. Silicon Valley would never be the same, and neither would I.